Hope you guys are all still with us. Thank you, Rebecca, for being a part of our show. And we are going to be going live any moment. We are just getting all these streaming devices together, and it takes sometimes a minute or two.
If you're not tech savvy.
You know what? I think sometimes we can't control when it comes to social media. That's for sure. All right, we're coming on live on.
Well, this is going to be a good one today, guys. Dave actually is trying something new. He actually took some clips from a video that we actually.
Why are we not getting
today?
this? Interesting. I think it's automatically live over here on the public. I think we're public now.
Test.
All right.
Any sound? Test.
Let's go to test.
There you go.
All right. You know what? I think sometimes we can't control when it comes to social media. All right. I'm going to lower that down.
Now, is this going to affect when you do your videos?
Nope. Got it on silent over here.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Team Real Estate Intro to Crypto. I almost said the wrong thing over here. Intro to Crypto podcast. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday. Getting through the technical difficulties of social media sometimes, a learning process for ourselves as well. Thank you so much for joining us. A great show today. We're going to have some bits of sound to listen to from some very well-known crypto people. Is that fair to say that?
Influencers.
Yeah.
We've been talking about CypherX for a long time, to be honest with you. CYPRX.
Let's write that down. CYPRX, CypherX.
Yep.
Very knowledgeable crypto influencer. A lot of knowledge you had to share with us, investor. So first thing we're going to talk about is Wall Street 2.0. How DeFi, tokenization, and XRP are rewriting finance. What does that mean? That means that what we have right now in the finance industry, how things are working, that we've been used to for the last 100 years, is all beginning to change. Sure and is. It's happening in the backgrounds every day. You just don't see it, although beginning to see it with the Bitcoin ETF and now XRP ETF. Now we have Circle as an ETF. How about that?
Well, Circle just got was it an ETF or no? They just went public. Circle went public. Circle basically is one of the largest stable coins, basically, and they just went public, and it was a $15 billion market cap on that by the end of the day yesterday.
If you don't know what Circle is, Mike's going to give you a little detail about Circle. How about that? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay, so basically Circle is a company that just went public, and they basically are in charge or coming up with stablecoins. So basically they buy treasuries from the U.S. government, and they back up their coin, their digital currency, dollar for dollar against the U.S. dollar. So and then they're very much audited, just like the RL U.S. dollar is. So very good security. I trust that far more than I do USDT, which is US dollar tether. I wouldn't put my money in that long term. It's a huge company, but personally, I want somebody that's going to do audits monthly, like we get with some of the other stuff.
Wall Street isn't moving; it's being rebuilt, and the next version doesn't need brokers, banks, or even fiat. We're talking about passive rewards, digital treasuries, and real estate income. How about that? Real estate income. Yeah. Right from your phone. Welcome to Wall Street 2.0. Michael Cristoforo, David Lamel, realtor, mortgage broker, talking crypto with you. This is the Intro to Crypto. Again, this is all, number one, most importantly for you. You might be the very beginning stages of crypto, digital assets. You might be somebody who's been involved for a little while. Okay, but we need to make sure that you can learn along with us so that you have a chance to hear about things. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you for being a part of our show. We want to make sure you have a chance to be a part of the learning process. There's such an important growth period over here that we are learning together. Yeah. And many of you out there, I just talked to someone the other day, never heard this before. They were scared about it. They never got involved in it. I was talking about XRP with them. They didn't understand what XRP was. I said, I'm going to give you the basics of what XRP does. It's basically a cross-border chain, which I'm saying cross-border chain of how money's being transferred back and forth from bank to bank and XYZ, yada, yada, yada.
Yep.
And I said, but do your research, read about it, learn about it, watch some of these influencers on YouTube. They're very smart, they're very educated. Some have different kind of personality traits to help them understand in their speed or excitement. And some people are more mellow, but it's important to start learning about this process of crypto.
Real quick, before we were just talking about US dollar tether.
Yes.
And I think it's important for everybody to know is that, did you know you could actually put your US dollar tether, USDC, the Circle token, which is all backed and so forth, you can actually be putting and earning more money in that in an account than you will be in your bank.
As a matter of fact, on many of the apps available like Uphold, et cetera, there's Kraken, there's Uphold, there's Coinbase, there's many of them. They're offering now 4.5% and higher on your money being put into their account versus at your own bank, let's just say TD Bank or Webster or Wells Fargo or any major banks, Santander, all these banks, they're offering you maybe 1 to 2% on your money in your savings at best, if you're lucky.
Right.
They're offering you 4.5% just to begin with, which is just unheard of, right? So,
and the reason why they can do that is because they're earning that from the treasuries. So they're literally investing in the U.S. government. If you trust the treasuries at the government, you should be able to trust the government, the treasuries at at a stable coin
versus your bank making an extra 3% that you're not getting, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to play a little something here for you guys. I hope you can hear it. It's pretty cool to listen to. And this is from CypherX.
We are entering into an era where we're not going to have to sell our digital assets like XRP for fiat currency. And instead, we're going to be able to participate in the DeFi ecosystem to generate passive rewards. In this video breakdown today, we are entering into an era where we're not going to have to
this is something where you're going to have a chance to, again, be a part of what's happening in the digital era. Mike, I want to make sure if people are reaching out to us, we can hear them also. If you guys have any questions for us, please reach out. We can probably get a chance to see them here on our stream. If we miss something, we'll get back to you, but definitely reach out to us and let us know if you have any questions or comments. Let's see. Going to go over here to the rise of trillions in stablecoins. Stablecoins are now represent trillions in digital liquidity. This money is no longer parked in traditional savings. It's flowing, complementing DeFi, equals enabling open finance across apps, platforms, and chains. Real-world examples are USDC, RLUSD, and institutions tokenizing cash flows, right?
Yeah.
So again, going back into putting money into your investments here through the different tokenizations, right, platforms, allowing you to make more money on your money versus putting in traditional banks.
Yep.
Is it correctly?
No, you did. And that's one of the things that CypherX was talking about was that we're going to earn money on our money until the very last moment that we actually
sell it
or buy something with it, which is so foreign to us. When you think about it, because I mean, the banks are doing it the banks have been doing it on us for decades. And so now it's going to be a chance for us to be able to.
One of the examples that you just kind of reminded me of was how often people go, like I'm going to use a company like Starbucks. You go to Starbucks once a day and you're buying your $10 latte, right? And you're spending all this money with cash today. That is going to be something that's going to change. First of all, you should stop buying that kind of coffee with that kind of money, because I mean, you could invest that money so severely and make such great money on that money you're spending. But we won't get into that right now. But you're going to have, let's say, XRP, and you're going to be able to use your XRP to buy coffee. But you're going to be keeping that money as long as you can. And then once you spend the money to buy your coffee with your crypto, at that point, the people who you're buying their coffee with or anything else you're buying it, at that point, they get to earn the money on that crypto that you're spending. Is that correctly stated?
Yeah, I think the one correction that people are probably going to be listening in on this and thinking is why would I spend XRP to buy a coffee?
Exactly.
And that's true. And that's where the stable coins come in to be perfectly honest with you, you're not going to be spending your XRP
Amen.
to buy a cup of coffee, because after all, look what happened to that poor gentleman that
Bought the pizza
bought the pizza and
15 years ago with Bitcoin.
Yeah, what would it be worth today? $20 million for the pizzas that he bought with. So typically, we're not going to be doing that with such a valuable asset as XRP.
You're going to be holding your coins and making money in them so that you can have residual income.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
DeFi applications now look like TradFi. Mike, can you do me a favor? Can you just give me a definition of TradFi?
Sure. TradFi, traditional finance, which is like our current financial system right now.
Yield-bearing DeFi, which is
decentralized finance. That's the movement of where we're going to with crypto, digital assets, with the new way of finance.
Yield-bearing DeFi products are mimicking treasury bonds. People are moving savings into protocols, not banks. Institutions are entering quietly. BlackRock, JP Morgan, and Citi. We're hearing it now all the time. All these banks are getting involved in buying as much of the crypto assets, such as Bitcoin and XRP, holding as much down as possible. And then what's going to happen is the world is going to change before your eyes in minutes. And you had no idea what was happening because you didn't hear about this in the beginning. You didn't invest in this.
You know, I was listening to another video by Alan Stable, which I really enjoyed the other day. He was talking about, he said, what's happening now is, he said, these governments are printing money out of thin air, and they're going to buy digital assets. And he said, those that do the most of that will be the ones that will be most in power when this all changes. And when I thought about that, I was like, interesting. So they're buying, makes sense. Our government prints money out of thin air.
That's right.
And what are they doing? If they're buying digital assets for these new reserves that they're getting ready to start. I was like, interesting. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And he who has the most tokens will probably be the most powerful.
Most powerful, the most sustainable, and the ones who are going to help run the financial system. And that again, it's the whole thing about the banks and the banking industry, and all these companies who are basically running the country in a sense, financially, if you will, right?
Yep.
They're buying it as much as they can in the back of the scenes, behind the scenes of what's actually happening, and then boom, the switch is going to go on.
Yep.
And you're going to want to go and buy and get involved in this. It all is going to be so expensive. Although remember, you can buy fractions of coins. You don't have to buy a whole coin, such as a Bitcoin. You can buy fractions of any coin out there. So you can diversify yourself as much as possible as well.
And fractions of real estate, which Dave will be talking about shortly.
We're going to talk to you about the fractions of real estate. DeFi isn't risky. It's evolving. The new treasury bills might just live on the blockchain. All right. So the next part we're going to go into is, I think I jumped the gun a little bit here with the videos, but we don't need to sell XRP anymore, right? That's not what you want to do. XRP will generate yield or access, not just appreciation. Why the shift? People are starting to leverage, not liquidate. XRP can be locked in DeFi staked or used as collateral. So let's hope I hit that right.
The true wealthy do not sell their assets. They live off the interest from them. That's true wealth in America.
Absolutely. And I'm trying to remember my order of, I think this is the one before your call it.
Archetypal example is in.
Hold on a minute. We'll come back to it in a minute. Oops.
It's okay. Remember, this is our first day for Dave trying some of these videos.
Yeah, this is very true.
So we're trying something different. So nobody wants to hear us talking for 20 minutes.
That's true. So we can go into Stacey Warden actually over here. So one of the things is we're going to talk about real world assets, tokenization of XRPL. Did we talk about this already? We didn't do this right.
No.
So real world assets, tokenization, and the XRPL. First time XRPL is tokenizing real estate in real time. This isn't theoretical. Projects like Proppy and the XRP are doing it now. We talked about Proppy last week on Monday, I think it was. Yeah. People can buy fractions of real estate directly on their phones. Passive rental rewards paid directly in XRP or stable coins. Let me just play that right back now as I get back onto. And this woman is Stacy Warden, which you're going to hear from.
Possible and tap into the research. So, do you all?
Here we go.
Archetypal example is in, as I was saying earlier, illiquid assets, right? Like having rental income is a very important way to diversify your portfolio income. I'm not talking about an in-law suite over your garage, right? I'm talking about a small apartment building. But, middle-class investors, they're not going to buy an apartment building, but they could buy a part of an apartment building. So there's a company building on Algorand called Lofty AI. For as little as $50, you can be an owner of a rental property, right? And what do you do as an owner of a rental property? You go to the Lofty AI website, where, by the way, it doesn't say Algorand, it doesn't say tokenization, it doesn't say blockchain anywhere on this website, but you get, the rental history, the tax records for the area, the property manager. They form archetypal example.
All right. So your ability to go ahead.
Earlier, illiquid assets.
So your ability to go now and buy a portion of a rental income. Like right now, if you, let's just say your income is Mets, you're struggling. Imagine you want to own property. You're able now today to own property or portions or pieces of property with a minimum of a $50 investment, to go and own pieces of rental properties in buildings using, what was the thing which you just mentioned over here? I apologize, I missed it.
The name of it?
Yeah.
AED, was it?
No, that was not that one. It was something Lofty.
Oh,
On Lofty, okay, you can go and buy portions of real estate. How crazy is that? That's all happening through the different crypto coin ledgers.
Algorand.
Algorand.
That one was Algorand.
Algorand, which nobody talks about.
Which is an ISO token that we talk about. Algorand's one of them.
So you have these abilities right now with the future of crypto to do things you never had to do, been able to do before, which is mind blowing. As a matter of fact, you can now buy property in Dubai, another company called Pripco, okay, where you can go and.
Can you spell that?
PRYPCO, Pripco is another app. You can go and buy portions or pieces of property in Dubai. Got another little thing on that. That was crazy.
That was when I saw the property that you can buy pieces of. It was like buying a part of a Marriott.
Buildings, you can choices of what to buy. All right, this is
the threshold to enter into the real estate market for the everyday average person is so high, and now that is all fading into the background, where anybody with $50, a mobile phone, and an internet connection can participate in the $1 trillion real estate market, and you can do that right now on the XRPL. And he just specifically mentioned the level playing field, which the threshold to enter into the real estate market for the everyday average person.
So
yeah,
and everybody that's listening in is probably thinking, what's the return on these things? And so Dave actually downloaded the app.
I downloaded the app. I decided to start putting things together over here. And on this app in Dubai, starting at $50, you can make 9.57% on your money. You have like many choices of which building, hotels, apartments, houses that you want to invest in. And when I was doing this just a few minutes ago, which is wild, it shows you how many people are there. Maybe 87 investors already involved in that same asset, and you have the ability to do it.
And it shows the percentage of it. It was 87. It was there was obviously some people with a lot of money in there, obviously,
right,
because it was 87 people, and the total of it was like 65% complete or something. So
I gotta log back in.
And this is all while you're doing that. While this is something that's currently all approved already with Dubai. So this is all regulated and approved. So this is not like somebody just came up with a great idea to buy a piece of a property. This is literally approved already to be able to do this with all Dubai stuff. So I thought that was a very interesting application.
Pretty amazing. I'm just logging in.
It goes along well with what we were talking about with Proppy last week, to be perfectly honest with you. So it was a perfect time to tap into that.
All right, we're logging in my biomatrix and looking into what you want to buy. So you can buy properties. Here's a building, a studio apartment in Farhad Aziz Residential, okay, that you can buy into this building. There's 84 investors, okay? There's 23 days left, and the annual return on your investment is 9.57%. That's mind-blowing. And there's 17 different properties right now that I can invest into if I wanted to, okay? It's just unbelievable based on how much you want to invest. Again, you can do minimum or maximum and be investing in Dubai from here on your phone.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to invest all over the country, all over the world in property.
And it's not that you and I are doing this, but we're just letting you know where the future's going. I mean, this is the future. I mean, this is like me showing you the first Model T that came across the line. Hey, everybody's been driving a horse and buggy. And now look I just rolled out a Model T on 4 wheels. You know, that's where things are going. So just imagine where this is going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years from now.
And as a real estate agent and as a mortgage broker, it doesn't help us out that this is coming out of the pipe, because you don't even need a real estate agent to do this.
Yep.
You're investing in real estate from your phone in another country, not to mention your own country, that you'll be able to do all this thing because of tokenization and crypto and all these different amazing assets that are available coming out.
Yep.
Pretty wild stuff.
Absolutely.
It's been a quick show. It's been an informative show, hopefully. Hopefully this made sense to you. So big picture, all right? From square one to square Z, A to Z, A to B, 1 to 10. Basically, we are changing the way Wall Street's working. Wall Street 2.0 is happening. Whether you're in front of it, behind it, on the side of it, paying attention, not paying attention, close your eyes and your ears, it's going to happen. You're either going to be involved in it, be a part of it, get excited about it, or close your eyes and wake up one day and you're going to wonder, why didn't anybody tell me? Why am I not hearing about this in the news? Why didn't I know about this to have a chance to invest and learn? Guys, girls, people out there, we are learning together with you. The reason why we're doing this is because we generally care about you and want to make sure we can get information out that we're learning day by day to you out there. Because the 6,000 people that watch on Facebook, or the 62,000 people watching on Instagram, watching our pages, or the point is, we are trying to get the word out to help people learn about things the way we learned. Someone else told us about something, and you slowly begin to invest a little bit. Again, you're doing things slowly. You're learning. There's only 5% of the world involved in crypto digital assets. 5%.
I had a woman call me a couple of days ago and said she just made her first XRP purchase. So I was happy to hear that was based on her watching this podcast. So I was thrilled.
And as you know, I was just at a past client's house who bought a house from me, I don't know, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. Asked me to come over to look at a deck, to ask some questions. I asked him if he knows about crypto, just because I wanted to help him out and educate him. He said, I've heard about it before, but I never knew how to get involved in it. I tried downloading an app, didn't know what to do. I sat with him. I showed him how to download an app, and guess what he did? He invested in XRP in a split second because he just wanted to get involved. Again, you want to learn, you want to do your research. Just don't go by what we're saying to you. This is not financial advice. This is things for you to help you learn about what's going on. Remember, everything we talk about is not financial advice. It's our being a friend of you, to care about you, to help you learn about what's happening in the world around you, and not be like, oh my God, one day, what did I miss? How come I didn't know about it? Like most of us until now.
Sounds good.
Hope this show is educational. Hope this show is fun for you. We appreciate your time. Mondays and Fridays, we're together with you. On Tuesday, we do real estate. Mondays and Fridays, crypto. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see you next week.